What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So we got a new Prime Resurgence yesterday, and I'll be doing a full inventory review on that. There's a lot of returning players, and I've been getting a lot of questions about, hey, is this gear in the Prime Resurgence still good in 2024? And spoiler, a lot of it actually is, but so yeah, some of these things definitely could use like an incarnon at least in 2024. So we'll be going over that today. Before we do, make sure you're subbed to this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. Really appreciate all the support recently, guys. Also hit that like button, lets more people see this video. And yeah, I'll be live on stream after this video goes up. Probably grinding out a lot of Void Cascade because some of those arcane prices have gone up a lot with new people coming back to the game, returning players and all that. So yeah, should be a good time. Also be farming a bunch of Endo this weekend too. And we just farm a lot, okay? So farming central on that stream if you want to come stop by. Let's get right into it. So one of the things you could farm is Aya to get these Prime Resurgence items. We got 4 frames currently available, and they will be available for like 2 weeks. There will also be a last chance week of this in February too. So if you don't get it this cycle, don't worry, it will be back for 2 more weeks in February as well. So as far as the items we're going to go over today, we got Valkyr, Saryn, Atlas, and Vobot and their items and cosmetics. So let's start from the top. I'm going to let you know right now that I would not recommend buying Valkyr from here. Not only is she technically permanently unvaulted, because the relics for Valkyr Prime, Cernos Prime, and the Venka Prime, these are always farmable in-game, guys. They come from Void Storms, which are railjack, like fissures, like void fissures, basically. So I would not recommend buying this with Regal Aya. You can farm this in-game pretty easily. It's also not very expensive to buy from other players. But yeah, this is always farmable in-game. Same with Nyx Prime as well. But as far as the items and cosmetics, like I got the Lyset Prime. I know some people really like this. Just a reminder, though, that this is only going to be usable on the Lyset. So if you use the ship that I use, the gigantic Scout Chunker ship, that will not work on there. So let's go ahead and show what I'm talking about. So for landing craft, see how I have the Scout ship here? The Lyset should be the only one that works with that Lyset Prime, obviously. So if you only use this ship, then sure, drop the Regal Aya on it. It will look cooler than the normal version. But if you usually run like this or like this, I wouldn't bother buying that. Now, you could put whatever the livery is. That this can change my gigantic ship into this ship, but I don't know if the Lyset Prime is one of these. So I wouldn't really recommend it. But hey, like I said, if you use Lyset all the time, maybe I'll be jealous of you in the mission, or the loading screen, seeing your Lyset Prime. I don't have. You also got the Saita Prime suit. It's going to really be up to personal preference if you think this is worth it. It's only for the operator, it looks like. Yep, operator only. So that's another restriction. If you use the Drifter, like I do, I use the Drifter exclusively nowadays, this will not work on the Drifter. So, yeah, I do, myself, I own a Prime Operator skin for the Zephyr Prime Access. I cannot use that with Drifter. So keep that in mind. This might not be really what you're looking for, even if you do think it looks cool, because it might not work on the character you're using. As far as the Cernos Prime and Venka Prime, they are always farmable from Void Storms, but as far as the stats, they're good stats. Cernos is basically a multi-shot, like a shotgun bow. It fires out multiple arrows innately. And you can make a horizontal spread or a vertical spread. And yeah, it can hit really, really hard. It has good status chance and crit chance too. So 35% crit chance, 2x multiplier, 30% status chance. Now it's mostly impact focused, but yeah, you fire out so many arrows that you're going to proc your modded elemental very easily on this thing. So I recommend it. It's fun. It's not something I use all the time. But yeah, you throw on a multi-shot rivet on this, dude, you can fire out 13. It's like an Artemis bow. It's like an Artemis bow that can go on any frame, not just Ivara. So I recommend it, but don't expect an incarnon on this because there's like 3 or 4 different Cernos in this game, at least. So good weapon nonetheless. What's the MR requirement on that one? MR 12 required. Pretty high requirement on MR, but it's really good. The Venka Prime is also here. It's always farmable from Void Storms. And this thing is they're really good. They're the best claws in the game besides Garuda Prime's signature talons, but you can only use this on Garuda anyway. So crazy high stats here. I've done level 10,000 with these plenty of times before. Extremely high slash weighting, good hybrid stats, 32% crit chance, 2.6 multiplier, and 24% status. Very good slash hybrid weighting. Main weakness is the range because they're claws. But yeah, really strong, got good ribbons too. Highly recommend picking these up from Void Storms. Don't buy them for Regal Aya, I'd say. Maybe pick up the relics that you want for normal Aya. Now we've gotten past that stuff you can always farm, the Venka Prime. Let's move on to Saryn Prime. This is one you cannot always farm at all, and she is... So, going over the back of the day information. So yeah, Valkyr, outdated. Outdated, very outdated. Her 4 is a glorified melee attack. Her 2 is a glorified melee buff. Her 3 removes her shields and knocks enemies over. And her 1 is... They refuse to remove it because it's funny to be Spider-Man. And her what is her passive even? Recover faster from knockdowns. Once you got primed for footed, irrelevant passive. So yeah, don't really waste your money or time on her unless you just want a cool looking character that hopefully gets reworked someday. What you should waste your time and money on is Saryn Prime. This character is still amazing in 2024, with every ability being really, really good. Status effects inflicted upon enemies last 25% longer. That's her passive. Versus getting up faster from knockdowns. So your status procs last longer. They're going to be dead by the time it's over anyway. Her first ability is a corrosive, like, spore that goes up in damage over time, causes corrosive procs. We just got these new green shards that make these corrosive procs even better than ever. I mean, not better than ever. Better than the last couple years. And they can also just kill stuff. So the very, very powerful first ability here. There's an augment that can make all your teammates and yourself get a corrosive damage buff from this ability. Very good. We got Molt, one of the best shield-getting attacks in the game. Has no cast animation. Once you cast it, if you use Brief Respite or Augur mods, it gives you your shields back. So you just push the ability, and you get your shields back, and you're basically immortal. So very, very good. Also cleanses status procs. Also makes you move faster. Also causes a AoE Toxin DOT. Just really good. And usually at level 10,000, this is going to be an ability that can save your butt like 100 times in a row. So very, very good ability. It's also her Helmet as well. You can put this in other characters if you have the non-prime version of Saryn in Helmet. Toxic Lash, one of the most amazing damage buffs in the game, causes your attacks to do an additional hit of toxin damage, which will bypass enemy shields, of course, so it's toxin. Also causes a really big DOT, so it's really powerful. This will also make it where enemies that are affected by her spores will spread the spores to nearby enemies. So it really lets you spread the infection and just destroy everything very easily, especially Corpus. And her ultimate attack, this is the one that usually is Helmet off because she just has so many powerful abilities, hard to choose one. This one causes a viral AoE, and that viral AoE will make enemies that die while affected by it to spread their spores to nearby enemies. Just let you spread the contagion all over the place. So, not the most insanely powerful ability, but I've actually been using it still nowadays in 2024 with no Helmet on the build, just because it's nice for a nuking Saryn build. So yeah, this is the must-have character of this Prime Resurgence. She also looks really cool. She has lots of skins, so if you don't think that this version looks cool with like the creepy infested hair, you could totally change that. I got plenty of Saryn skins. I got a Night Hunter, Vampire skin, etc., etc. Now, on her cosmetics, I don't remember what these look like, so let's take a look at these. Like, Kyaikuta Prime Cyandana. It's the signature Cyandana of Saryn. So if you think that looks cool, I don't really think... I don't think I'll be buying this one. I've seen people with this, though. It's like, it's more of a cape, for sure. It would not look good on my Titania, for example. So there's certain characters it might not look good on. But hey, you know what? It doesn't look bad. I don't think it looks bad overall, just not really what I would be spending my Regal Eye on. For the Kyaikuta Prime Sigil, that one's pretty cool. Kind of hard to see with this energy color choice, but it should have an energy flowing effect through it. I don't think I'd be buying a Sigil with Regal Eye, though. The Spear of Prime is... Okay, we're getting to the weapons that like just don't even exist, really. So, here is one of the weapons that just doesn't even exist. We have the Spear of Prime. Not even sure what the mastery requirement is on this thing. I might not even have one. We have a forgotten, basically a... I guess I call it like an ice cream throwing weapon. You look like you're throwing some ice cream with this thing. It's got 30% crit chance, 3x multiplier, 14% status, and 60 damage. So this is a throwing ninja star weapon, like a kunai basically. But it's very irrelevant. It's extremely, extremely irrelevant. Has good Riven stats and high crit. But who's using this thing? If you wanted to use a throwing star weapon in 2024, the kunai has an incarnon that can one-shot level 10,000s. The Despair has an AoE exploding incarnon. There's just better things to use than this. It pretty much needs an incarnon to be remembered at all, and even if it did get one, it had to be very, very, memorable to be comparable to the kunai and the Despair, because we already have two kunai type incarnons. So, yeah, definitely one you could pass on, but if you do want the mastery, the problem with this one is it takes 2 gold parts, I believe it is, to build this. This is the Spear of Prime pouch. I'm going to scroll down here real quick. One of these is a gold part you need 2 of. Let's see. Yeah, Spear of Prime pouch. You need 2 gold parts to build the Spear of Prime, and that's not really going to be worth it to a lot of people. So keep that in mind. It's definitely a dud. Like it looks cool that you throw ice cream at the enemies, but yeah, needs an incarnon in 2024, and we probably won't get it. So just pass on these, unless you are speculating they will make an incarnon. Weapon that you probably should get is the Nakata Prime. This is the signature ninja sword of Saryn Prime. And yeah, we got some really good stats. Just like Saryn Prime, we got some good stuff on here. High crit chance of 28, 2.4 multiplier, 28% status chance, so very good hybrid stats. Pretty much all slash, so almost every status proc you get in this thing will be slash procs. We got good attack speed and good-ish range. So just a really good ninja sword, no Riven required, can take care of lots of high-level enemies, and just looks cool while doing it. So I'd recommend getting this. Now there is like the Dragon Nakana, which can be better with a Riven. This thing has low Riven stats. But yeah, this thing is right here and now. It's kind of rare usually too, so make sure you get this if you're high enough mastery to use it. I believe it's pretty high mastery, like MR 14 or something. MR 12. Okay, MR 10 for the Spear Prime, MR 12 for the Nakana Prime. So yeah, so far if you're keeping track, I'm saying get Saryn Prime and get Nakana Prime. That's basically it so far, unless you want mastery. Now we're on to Atlas. Now Atlas got a pretty big buff with the Kalervo Warframe's Helmet ability, Wrathful Advance, getting added. It makes him have basically guaranteed red crits on his fists, which is really good. But the problem with Atlas is not really a damage problem, it's more of a usability problem. He's annoying to play. His golems, rumblers, like, why do they even exist sometimes? Like, I kind of wish I could, like, throw them at enemies or something. They're so dumb. And his other abilities, like, he makes a rock wall, really gimmicky, and Petrify has a weird conal hitbox. He's all about his one, really, just punching enemies with Atlas. And if you just focus on that, he can be good for that purpose alone, but beyond that, not really a big use case for Atlas, besides maybe Orgaze, but also, Orgaze is his augment mod, but he gets some extra loot. That can be used on other characters, because Petrify is his helmet, so. Hey, he's immune to knockdowns while on the ground, so if you don't have Prime Sure-Footed, you could maybe get him for that. I wouldn't call him a must-have frame, I'd say he's a fun frame to try out, and if you are looking for something to do this weekend, maybe get Atlas Prime and just punch some acolytes. As far as the weapons of Atlas Prime and the cosmetics, we have the massive Prime Cyandana. I don't like this. It looks like kind of like when you ever like not cleaned a dish for a couple days and there's like that weird gross film on it? That's kind of like the look I get from this Cyandana. Like if you want some moldy food on your back, this is the moldy food Cyandana. Do not buy this. You got moldy, it's like you didn't cook up after a breakfast. You got gross eggs right here and then some bacon strips on the side. So you want the leftover too lazy to clean up Cyandana for breakfast. There you go. And we got the Orcus Prime Sentinel accessory. I don't remember these really. These look cooler than that Cyandana. You want to look a little blade arm, it looks like. Little blade arms for your Sentinel. Although they're actually more like dangly ribbons. I don't know. If that's going to be really up to you if you like that. I do kind of like it, but I don't think I use Sentinels enough to really buy this. And I already have Sentinel cosmetics I like. So that's up to you. For the Tekko Prime, this is a slash-focused punching weapon, I believe. Yeah, 115 slash. So you got good hybrid stats on this, but the problem is it's a punching weapon. If you look at this range stat compared to the Nakana Prime, we have like half the range. And very similar other stats. So that's the problem, is that you're using a punching weapon, not a ninja sword. It might have good stats, but you're using a punching weapon. So if you want to use a punching weapon, this is a good punching weapon. I think it's actually considered technically a sparring weapon. But either way, yeah, it's a usable attack, or usable weapon, but it's not a meta weapon that I use ever, really. So, nothing you should be really seeking out, but if you want to try it out, feel free. They can deal decent damage at the end of the day. They also look kind of cool. For Death Cube Prime, this is one I probably would recommend to you. So the stuff going on with Death Cube Prime, we have a ability it's a Death Cube ability mod called Energy Generator. If you have an enemy that is damaged by Death Cube and you kill it, or like Death Cube assisted or whatever, it will drop an energy orb right on top of your head after a couple of kills. So that could be a great way to sustain energy, but in 2024, to me, this is not good enough for my general playstyle. I already have the energy economy situation covered. I don't need Death Cube. This is more for like mid-game players. Get the Energy Generator mod from Samaris, and just drop orbs on top of yourself constantly. Put a Hellstrom weapon on the Death Cube, and it will proc damage all over the place. That will count as an assist, and you'll have tons and tons of orbs. So, good enough there. Now, as far as his Vaporize ability, I don't really use it anymore. I did back in like 2019 or 2020, but yeah, nowadays not using Vaporize. We're too powercraft for me to actually worry about a single target ability. So, yeah, if you want to try it out, go for it. It's better than Death Cube Normal, and Death Cube Prime's rifle is pretty decent too. Yeah, I'd say it is a item worth getting out of this Resurgence. So we have like 2 or 3 things I'd recommend so far. For Vauban Prime, I will admit I'm not a big Vauban player, but he can still get the job done in 2024. Good for grouping enemies up with his 4th ability, Vortex Bastille. His nuking attack, Photon Strike. I don't really use this, but I've heard it can be pretty good in some situations. He's got a utility attack Mind Layer, which has like 4 different things he can do. He can throw out like a Fleshette Orb that can deal scaling damage. He can link enemies to walls with the Tethered Mine. He has like a boost pad, I think, as well, that can like make enemies or yourself like fly forward. And I can't remember the last one. He's got like, I think he's got like some other like joke. Oh, it's a damage buffer mine. He can throw it on his teammates. Kind of hard to keep track of your teammates. Like in that video right there, the Excalibur is standing still. Your teammate won't be standing still in mission. So, a interesting skill. And then his first ability is Tesla Nervos. Throws out some electric orbs that will shock enemies to death, and then go into another enemy after that. So he's actually got some pretty good abilities. It's just not a character I play very often. He deals extra damage to incapacitated enemies too. That's very good with his Vortex, as I believe this is like a Roar Bane multiplier damage buff right here. So very good with his Vortex, CCing so many enemies. So not a must-have, but a frame that you might want to consider if you like CC characters and utility characters in games like this. For the cosmetics, we got the signature Sayandana of Vauban. It kind of like has like a Vauban look to it. That's going to really be up to you. I don't like it personally, but yeah, it's got like 2 days. I don't know. It's a little bit weird up to me. This pyramid thing at the top. That's going to be up to you. Another Sugatra. If you are someone that wastes or spends your Regal Aya on Sugatras, make sure you take a real good look at that one. Make sure it's worth it, because I can't hardly even see it. All right, for Vauban's weapons, we're almost done here. We got the Fragor Prime. So this one is actually this is one I'd say you probably should get. Yeah, this one's pretty unique. So we have a really hard-hitting hammer. But here's something you should keep in mind. Look at this. Unlike most weapons, it has a combo count built in. This weapon has built-in combo hits from you doing nothing. So just existing, it has 30 combo already. So that will let you get to your 220 maximum combo a lot easier. We have the new melee arcanes too, so this thing can hit really hard. Look at these stats. 40% crit chance, 2.5 multiplier. That's a lot for a crit weapon. And we've got, unfortunately, mostly impact, but that's okay, because this thing's not really proccing status all the time anyway with that 18% status chance. You just basically use this to one-shot an enemy really hard. If you want one-shot an Acolyte, you can do that. You want one-shot Demolist, you can do that. There's going to be a lot more than one Thrax, so maybe don't use this on Cascade, but yeah, very good heavy attack weapon. Easy to build up to that 12x because that 30 initial, and yeah, I recommend this thing, although it is really slow. And there are other heavy attack weapons in the game too. I'd say this would be like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 as far as me recommending it versus the other stuff we have in the game right now. It also is a golden hammer, so that's cool. Now for the last weapon of the entire list, I want to talk about the Axolotl Prime. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing about the Axolotl Prime. They're annoying to build. And also, their stats are really bad, as you can see right here. 15% crit chance, 2x multiplier, 30% status chance. This one needs an incarnon. Like, straight up. The ribbons for it are bad, too. So do not get this unless you are speculating that maybe there would be an incarnon for this sometime this year. They're so bad. They're impact-focused status pistols in 2024 with bad base damage and bad reload. 1.1 reload on these things is pretty bad. And they have bad fire. They're just not good. They're just not good. So this thing is bad. You should not get it. But if you do get it, maybe you could be speculating there's an Axolotl Prime incarnon sometime this year. There is no leaks, no nothing, no info at all. Completely just talking. I'm just speculating right now. If they make an incarnon for this because they need it, maybe that could be a reason to have it. If there's not an incarnon for this, which there's not, there is no reason to get these. They're just mastery fodder. So, unfortunate. Back in the day, they used to be kind of cool. But yeah, in 2024, they're definitely not. They're just a waste of space. So, if you want to get those for mastery fodder or for speculation of an incarnon, be my guest. But either way, guys, that's the end of your review. As far as the best stuff here, in my opinion, I'm just going to go ahead and say that the Venka Prime and the Cernos Prime are good, but currently farmable. Saryn Prime is a must-have. You must farm this from this Resurgence. If you don't, you have a last chance week in like 2 weeks. But after that, it might be a really long time till Saryn Prime comes back. The Nakata Prime, I wouldn't call it a must-have, but it's definitely good. If you want to get a new Mastery 12 Ninja Sword, there you go. Atlas Prime is worth trying out. I'd say all the frames are actually worth getting for Mastery at the very least. But Atlas can be fun for some punching. His weapons are not needed, but the Death Cube I'd say was get as well. And for Vauban, you don't need them, but you could try them out. And the Fragor Prime, definitely don't need it, try it out. A lot of this stuff is don't need it, but try it out. But I would say that Saryn Prime is a must-have. So Saryn Prime is a must-have, and maybe Death Cube is a must-have, and that's basically it. So I'll see you guys next video. Hope this one is fun and helpful. If you disagree with my suggestions, let me know what you think would be better down below. I don't think that Vauban's a must-have really either, but he's still pretty good at the end of the day. So see you guys next time. Appreciate the support. Take it easy. Peace.